This is Articulation Practice Day 7 of 30-day challenge. And for today, I want to discuss and share my travel experience. So, first time I moved to the United States, that was back in 2016. And when I came here, I was a J1 student. Then I changed my status from J1 to F1 and actually got into school. And I was studying finance and accounting for over 3.5 years. But unfortunately, after those years on my junior year, I had to drop out due to the financial difficulties and because of my mental health. Because at that time I was working too much and I had school and I was getting married and I felt like I had a little too much on my plate. So because of that, I had to drop out from school. And the same year, as soon as I dropped out from school, I went for my competition, which was a bodybuilding competition, which took me around 9 to 10 months of preparation, and it was one of the phenomenal experiences. And after that, I worked on pursuing my green card and my permanent residence in the United States, and I was able to achieve that. I was granted permanent residency in 2023. As soon as I got my green card, I planned my trip to travel back home to my home country, which is Uzbekistan. I was born and raised in Tashkent, Uzbekistan. And since I have been in the United States since 2016, it was about like 7 years that I haven't had a chance to visit my family. And as soon as I got my green card, my first thought was booking the tickets and planning my trip. And that's what I did. I booked my tickets, planned my trip, and the best of all, I did not let my family know that I'm traveling. I dropped hints here and there saying that, hey, pray for me, and maybe I will visit you one day. And my mom was perhaps taking it as a joke and taking it slightly, and probably she didn't get the hint that I was traveling back home. And the day comes, I'm extremely nervous and extremely excited, the turbulence of emotions. Because on the one hand, I haven't seen my family in 7 years. I don't know how the reaction is going to be. On the other hand, I'm extremely excited to see my family. So I get on the plane. The flight was around 13 hours from New York to Tashkent, Uzbekistan. Whew, that was quite a bit of a flight. But so unsurprisingly, my fellow my fellow passengers made it easier for me because we were chit-chatting throughout the flight. And first of all, they made it easier for me to bear the flight, and they made it easier for me not to occupy my mind with the thoughts of how they're gonna see me, how they're gonna greet me. So that has helped me a little bit. After 13 hours of excruciatingly painful flight, we landed home, and as soon as I got out of the airport, I booked a taxi. And on my way home, I called my brother from taxi's cell phone. And initially, when my brother picked up his phone, he was like, "Who is this? I don't recognize you." And I told him it was me, his brother. And I told him that I was only 15 minutes away. He was flabbergasted for a second, but he collected himself very, very quickly, and he told me that he's gonna bring the family to the front, telling them that it's gonna be a surprise, without telling them what kind of surprise it would be. So I arrived. He greeted me at the front door. We hugged. We exchanged some pleasant words, and then as soon as he opened the door, I see my family, my mother, my little sister, my sister-in-law, and their daughter. And the first thing that happens is I see my mom, the tears start coming down through through my face. And the same for my mother. We hug, we exchange tears, but those were the tears of happiness, tears of joy, and tears of, I guess, unification after all these 7 years. And then I greet my sister, my sister-in-law, and my little niece. So we're all happy, and we go to the living room. We talk for a little bit, and while we're talking, my mom calls my father saying that when he's coming back home, because there was a surprise for him. And my father's like, I'm still at work. I don't know what time I'm gonna be there. And he was like, probably I'll be there around noon. And we're like, okay. And I had a little bit of, I guess I ate a little bit, and we talked for a little bit. But since I was extremely tired of the travel, they let me go take a shower and take a little nap to refreshen myself up. And noon rolls around. My father comes back home while I'm taking a nap, and my sister comes into my room. She wakes me up. She's like, my father is home. My father is home. Go surprise him. And then I go to the living room where my father is sitting, and I just open the door, and I just like, Assalamu alaikum, dad. This is how we greet. And he's like, oh my God. He didn't expect it. He's like barely holding back his tears and the same. And we hugged for like 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and then we sat down and we started talking, and we started remembering good old times. And they were all happy that I was back home. I was happy that I was back home. It was a turbulence of emotions because of the anxiety, nervousness, but at the same time, the extreme joy and happiness of seeing my family for the first time in that long 7 years. And then I spent some time with my family. Then I got to see my relatives, my long distance relatives, my friends, my classmates, my ex-co-workers, ex-college mates, university mates. I get to see over hundreds of people, including my friends, my classmates, my relatives, my family, my extended family, all other people. It was a very pleasant experience. It was not so much for seeing the places, but so much as seeing the people that I've missed.